There you go.
Welcome back to the morning session, man. It is Tuesday morning. Well, it is actually, what time is it here? I'm in Europe. I'm in Austria. It's 3 p.m. where I am. Ed, what time is it where you at?
It's 9:25 a.m. It's late over
Not
here.
late, late in the morning. That's because this guy rises up. Hence why we got the thing called the morning session. So
Yeah.
welcome back. My name's Caleb Leach, Evan Harrington. So Evan, if you'd like to, man, present the topic for the week. We saw some cool things going on Facebook, Twitter. What was all that combo?
Man, we got the combo going of does Europe need more scouts here or more quality coaches? And I keep saying
Okay.
here like I'm still in Europe, but I mean there. I got a love in my heart for the European football scene. Uh, but yeah, that was an interesting question, and we were getting so much feedback, man. I really appreciate everyone who reached out and gave their opinion. And honestly, that's just how we keep growing the game and get people more involved. You got coaches speaking on a thread who probably wouldn't speak to each other if this question wasn't presented. But then you start that coaching network and everyone gets to know each other. So it's just building a family of football internationally, man, and I love it. Caleb, what are your thoughts? Let's go. What are your thoughts
No,
on that
man.
question?
I thought it was really cool. We've started that whole fact or fiction type thing with Twitter, Facebook, because it gets the combo going, and it's cool to see the coaches from Norway to give an opinion, a coach from Germany give an opinion, a coach from France give an opinion, and the pros and cons on both of them. And the coach from Sweden, because one coach I thought, I think Coach Fredriksson from Sweden, he brought up a great point on the topic. He's like, well, I think some of our players from Sweden might say we need more scouts because they've gotten Division 1 offers directly from Sweden, right? And then there's a bigger football market, bigger in the country, like Germany and France, where there's a lot more players. Where they're like, hey, we need coaches. We know there's athletes, but we need coaches. And then you got to hear, the back and forth. I thought it was cool. I got my own opinions. I just read some of this stuff. I thought it was pretty hype.
Yeah.
My first take on coaches versus scouts. I'm gonna vote coaches first. One, because I believe in the power of coaches and teachers. I believe in the power of lifting up a player. And if you got a good coach, he will see to it that you're scouted out. That's my
Exactly.
answer.
Yeah.
That's my without digging deep. That's my answer. I don't know what you got.
For me, I would say the same. I would think you would need more coaches. It's one of those things where they say, if you build it, they will come. So if you're building the players up to be phenomenal athletes on and off the field, in the classroom, and you're having that structure of coaching, teaching these kids what to do at an early age, the scouts, they'll find you. It's just like here at this level, we've got we got our scouting department, turning over rocks, just
Yeah.
looking for the next best player, whether he's playing at the Division 1 level or he's playing at the Division 3 NAIA or even internationally. So that's a beautiful thing about having a scouting department. And I believe what Arizona State did when Coach Herm Edwards took over there, he created a whole scouting department there at the college level, which
Okay.
people really don't have. And now we can see other teams are starting to, and at the college level, starting to do scouting department. That's just a scouting department there, which is separate from football, and that's all they do.
No, that's interesting. I didn't know Arizona State did that, and I'm a big Herm Edwards fan, so shame on me for not knowing that one. Uh, but I think that's pretty unique, right? You kind of take the coaches away from the scouting, so he can focus on making his current player the best player he can be, and then when he gets the new guy, he can make him the best player he can be. But then, just to that point, I would like to play devil's advocate. uh, the guy in the scouting department, should he have a coaching background and have a certain level of football, or should he just be, oh man, I need to find a raw athlete with long arms and big body and could potentially be a good player? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a great point. I know here, I can only speak for us here in Washington. Most of our scouts, I would say all of our scouts play college football.
Yeah.
Our head scout, our head pro scout, uh, he played at the University of Nebraska. We have another scout who's a quarterback at William and Mary. We have another scout who's a defensive end at the University of North Carolina. So most of those guys have playing experience. and they've kind of tailored their niche, tailored their skill, just like coaches tailor their skills by going to other scouts and seeing how other successful teams do their thing, find the next best athlete. So I don't necessarily believe they have to be a coach, because their job is not to develop the skill, but their job is to find people with a certain skill set and see what they do good.
So then, yeah, no. I think you hit around the head. There's that guy who has an eye for potential, an eye for a development level, an eye for, the next best thing. And I agree. I think the guy who has that eye should have played or coached to a certain level. Because if you're this random barbershop guy, for those of you who haven't experienced barbershop, that's the place where you go, people just talking junk the whole time. But if you're this random barbershop guy just talking like, oh man, he's fast, he's physical, he probably runs a 4.4. It's like, man, he runs a 5.1. He plays this competition that's not that dang on good. So I like what you said there. And if we go back to the international scene, there have been numbers of scouting services. There's like the numbers are ridiculous. The amount of people are doing it, it's high. Some have had great success and great job for getting guys to their goal. And seriously, thumbs up to you. But knowing that the game of football was once in a position that was just developing, would you say now it's at a point that it's been developed, there's competition, these are good football players? Are we still growing the game, or are we now competing in the game and just grabbing the next best player?
I think it's a little bit of both. That's a difficult question. When you develop the players and people start seeing others have success, I think a lot of people don't see what goes on behind the scenes. They don't see that player has traveled and trained with a coach who played at the high level or coached at a high level. That kid who's been successful, he didn't just wake up overnight and be successful. He went and he put in the work. And I think we're at the point where everyone believes, hey, I can make it to the next level, but without putting in the work. And of course, people can make it to the next level, but I think we almost try to skip the step because, we are just seeing other people doing it, but we're not seeing what did they do to get there.
Oh, 100%. I had a coach in AAU basketball, actually, ironically, but his name's Mike Scott, and he had a quote that, or he just said something in practice, stuck with me. I've carried it the rest of my life. And he kept saying, do the work early, do the work early. Now, and when he would say that, he was usually talking to the point guard about getting the play set up, push down court, get things set up so you can go. But that's how it stuck with me, like get things done early, right? So then you can succeed in the next step. I know it's a basketball thing where I picked it up, but it's still true in the development of an athlete. If you get with the right coach, who normally is your foundation, builds you up, then everything else comes with that. Our guy, I got a story, Darius Willis. Darius, you guys played against each other down there in Switzerland.
Yeah.
You guys went back and forth, and I remember seeing the tape all the time, and it was cool. But Darius, Indiana guy, never was the guy who like went to big camps and asked for scouting services, because he was big time football. He played good football in Indiana. Yeah. The scouts found him.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And you were the same way. Like you were you were actually in a different way, because you were in DC playing football.
PG County, it's a little bit different.
It's a little different.
It's a little different. It's a little different. But no, to what you're saying is absolutely 100% correct. We have a saying here when we work out, the coaches, I work out with strength staff early in the morning, and we say, everybody want to be a bodybuilder, but don't nobody want to lift no heavy ass weight. So it's like, I mean, it's you say it and you think about it, but everybody wants to be strong, but shit, you gotta lift some heavy ass weight to be strong, So that's the same thing to be a Division I football player or Division I college athlete or even Division II, Division III. You still have to put in the work, and I think sometimes we get away from that. We think, hey, we just show up, but man, every rep counts. There's a guy out there trying to take your spot. That's how you got to think about it. And the great thing and the beautiful thing about football is if you start thinking about football that way, you'll start carrying that same attitude in your whole life. Don't let anyone outwork me.
Straight up, straight up. Now, before we close up this segment of the show, I want to read some quotes we had on our Facebook thread there. Hans Bulnick had a really, really strong comment here. And I'm just going to read it off word for word. He said, "There's no unity of language, education, vision, or agendas, and all other things important of the development of the beautiful sport in the countries across Europe. Our society works completely different than that of the US. No, not better or worse, just different. We think that the seniors are more important than the kids, but in the US, it's different. It's community driven. And it's community driven. In Europe, it's government driven. Also, we always look for our government money and support. In the US, they look for the local network. Replace the term American football with soccer, and you see what is needed to get our vision of the game to the right level. So yes, we need better coaches, but we also need a change in mentality and unity of the vision. For the moment of some clubs have the coaching set, but not a single country has a real vision of the future of football." In Durant.
Hey, being that I coached and I played in Europe, I do see that it's more focused on the men's football than the youth football. But if we start and put that infrastructure at the youth football, it will just make your men's team, and as they go, they'll get better, better, and better. But I will say, you do see teams taking more advantage of their youth football. For example, I was just watching this weekend, the former team I used to coach for, the Winterthur Warriors, they're live streaming their youth football, which is awesome. It's showing and it's getting out there to the public. And I believe I think it's Wiesbaden, I believe they also were live streaming their youth football game. That's freaking awesome, man. Just giving those guys the spotlight and giving them that platform to show, hey, we're developing something. And then you can say, hey, I have our games live streamed if you want to check it out for people who don't know American football. And we all know in Europe, they don't know American football. Why am I going to go there and check it out? But you can sit at home and you can watch it on live stream and be like, man, that's pretty cool. So you're introducing people to the game. So I think little things like that is something definitely needs to be more involved in.
No, 100%. The biggest thing I took from this quote was just the unity of coaches, unity of players, unity of direction, agenda, and the overall mission. What is it? And maybe that'll be our next talk. But before we dive too deep into that and go like a whole hour into that, we got to go into our next portion before we wrap up the show. And the next question we had from a Daniel Vipacek from Vienna, Austria. I believe he plays for the U19 team, the Vienna Vikings. So shout out to the Vikings. His question was, what is it that makes a player the it factor, the guy? How do I stand out amongst other competition?
That's one of those questions, like last week, it's multiple parts of that question. But I think the biggest thing from an offensive perspective and from a defensive perspective as well, you just have to make explosive plays. Because that's really what the game is about, explosiveness. Can you make explosive plays? If you're a receiver, can I outrun, the defense? If I'm a linebacker, am I, just running to the ball sideline to sideline, making plays when no one else can? I would believe that's the it factor, explosive plays.
I think I would have to agree when someone says, oh, that kid has it. Mm-hmm. It's usually the guy who, he works hard, he trains, he's smart, but when he steps on the field, man, he just shows up and makes play. He's the one that is somehow making a pick six from the field corner all the way dropping back to middle third, and he got a pick and took it to the house. Or that running back who broke 3 tackles, didn't stop his legs, and ran for 40 yards. The quarterback who spun out of getting sacked and completed a pass, or the D lineman who made a sack while he's still getting blocked by 2 people.
Yeah.
You just got to make plays. That it sounds so foreign to some people, but that idea of just be a dog.
Exactly.
Just be a dog. And
that's the best way to put it.
When a dog hasn't eaten in a long time, he's hungry, he's mean, and he's trying to do everything he's got to do to get some food. I hope that makes sense to somebody.
And you're just looking at that dog like, man, is he okay? Like, yeah, I'm good. This is me.
This is me. This is me. No, that's so real. But some people don't understand that term. I hope whoever hears this message needed that. I hope it clicks. If it didn't click for you, man, shoot us a message and we will continue to explain the dog mentality to you.
Yep.
But yeah, that's it. We're almost over our time limit here today. But hopefully we answered your questions. And yeah, coaches versus scouts both are needed, but the coaches are the foundation at the end of the day. And having that dog, that's what I'll close with.
Yeah, and then I'm closing with just the way. Uh-oh, time's up. I'm closing with, man, just the way everyone was just engaging in that question, man. It takes a village to raise a child. You know, that's an old saying, and us as a European or as international people involved with international football, man, it takes a village. It takes us as a community to keep this thing going and hit it in the right direction. And I think everyone wants to make international football bigger than what it is. So it takes a village to raise a child, and our child is football. So let's keep raising it up.
Keep raising it up. All right, guys. Till next time, we'll check in with you on the morning session. Follow us on our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I'm out. Caleb Leach, Evan here. Till next time.